Whiners, it's me, P. Welcome back to Adultish Wines. I'm feeling very out of my sorts. I'm feeling in rare form, which always allows for a very unhinged episode. And there's a new producer here, which I always get a little bit nervous when there's somebody else. You know, it's always weird talking to yourself, talking to the camera, talking in a room where someone is listening but not responding to you. You're not having a conversation with. And I've been used to Kari, and now we have Brandon, and so I'm just a little nervous. I've had a day today. Actually, the past 30 hours have been very annoying. Plenty to whine about for this solo episode. Yesterday, this episode's coming out on Thursday, so at this point, Monday, my family dog passed away, and I'm very, very sad about that. We had him for 14 years. His name was Walter, and my sister Megan. He was my family dog, so my sister Megan obviously was his mom. I was the aunt, I guess. But she was saying, if we had a funeral for him, people would have come. If we had a wake, that's how loved Walter was. He was the best boy. He always brought somebody, he didn't chew shoes, but he always brought you a shoe to greet you at the door, whoever you were. He was a 95-pound lap dog, plenty of room on the couch, but he was definitely just sitting on your lap. He was such a huge part of our family, and so I'm really, really sad about it. And I was trying to tell Pedro what happened, and he gives no fucks. He was not comforting me. Walter would have known if I was crying, or when I had surgeries, or when a guy fucked me over, Walter was always there with me, cuddling me, loving me, and Pedro was just really out for himself. So I'm a little upset about that. And then you guys know the backstory of my property manager. He just shows up at my house unattended. I could be doing whatever the fuck I wanted in my house, and he could show up and I would be there, butt-ass naked, getting coffee or something. So anyway, I think I've made my point clear to him about communicating with me. So he did email me yesterday saying he was going to be coming to the unit, in a very rude email, by the way, but whatever. He came, or he had people come by, but I was supposed to be at work today. And so I had to ask my boss if I could work from home for the first part of the day. And I was like, I'm sure it's going to be a short appointment. They'll be here for a couple hours. Can I work from home? She said yes. They came. They were there for 4 hours. On top of that, months ago, I dropped my phone and it cracked on the back really, really bad. And you know me, a little procrastination never hurt nobody. So I have been just procrastinating. I'll just get it fixed one day. The camera was working fine. So that's fine for me. Then I bartended a shift for Traveling Spirit Bar over the weekend, and I was doing too much, as I do, moving too fast, really feeling myself. So I had a bag of ice in the middle, and I was holding 2 cases of beer on each side, thus holding the ice. I was feeling superwoman, and I felt the ice dripping down my coochie, and in my coochie apron part was my phone, and I knew that there was ice dripping down into my cracked phone. What was I going to do in front of this 130 wedding party? Drop the beer? Start over? I didn't know how to rejigger my situation. So I just walked 50 feet knowing that my phone was getting drenched. And it did. And it really stopped working, and the camera became very fuzzy. And so anyway, I filed a claim Monday morning to get a new phone. Thankfully, I pay whatever it is monthly for insurance. Super easy. I almost was wow, I cannot wait to go on, and I'm not going to have a one of the week on this week's solo episode. I'm going to pep up Assurian, Verizon's insurance carrier, whatever the fuck they are. But I'm so pissed. Super easy process to get the new phone, right? I paid $12 a month or something. I inputted a claim. They didn't ask any questions. I said, cracked, water damage. They said, you want to deliver it in 1 to 2 days, or do you want to deliver 5 to 7 with an in-person tech to help you set up the phone? I said, okay, come on then. Help me set up this phone, because it's always a nightmare. So my dog just died. The tech gets there. Not Pedro. My family dog just died. So the tech gets there, and by the way, he called and he says he's on his way. And he's like, hey, I'm about this many minutes away. And by the way, what other kind of services do you have at your house? And what other kind of software and equipment do you have at your house? And I was like, oh no, this is not going to be a sales visit. I am not in the mood for a sales visit. I'm regretting all my decisions. Should have just had it delivered in 2 days. Should have done it myself. But I'm like, whatever, I'll just tell him my dog died and he'll get the point and leave. like, or stop talking to me about sales. He gets there, nice kid, helps me set up the phone. He's looking around. He's like, all right, so, yeah, well, and while this is setting up, doing the software update, you know, I'm here to tell you about this. And I said, I just want to stop you before you get started. Like, I totally appreciate, I'm in sales. My day job is sales. I appreciate what you're doing. I'm having a very bad day. My dog just died, and I really just, like, want to be curled up on the couch crying. So, like, can we just get the phone situated? And I'm not going to be buying anything else today, okay? And he's like, oh, okay. You know, like, I feel like he hears me. He listens to me. He does not. He continues on and on throughout the whole thing. Like, well, I see you got a MacBook over there, and I see you got an iPad. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking, too, like, am I about to get robbed? Like, they're talking about my shit a lot. Like, oh, well, your TV, though. Apparently there's a Verizon Home and Protect. You could have anything protected for $25. It's the same vibe as a Shurion. You just something breaks, something get water damage, you get a new something. I just said, no, thank you. I have Apple Care. I don't need any more protection. I don't need any more sales. I just want my phone fixed. He continues on and on. Okay, well, you're also eligible for 5G internet. Let me call my coworker. Calls his coworker, Humberto. Gets him on the line. The guy gets on the phone. He's going through the whole process, and I just know it's a spiel. I'm like, Humberto, thank you so much. I'm just not interested. Like, thank you. They keep pushing. The software update is going on and on and on. This guy's like, oh, it's taking a while. And then he's also like, it's like awkward, you know? I just have me and one guy in my kitchen just like, you know? And then he stops and he's like, that's a nice knife set. And I said, I think I'm all good here. He's like, where'd you get that knife set? I said, Costco. I'm good now. I can do the rest. He's like, yeah, because this is taking a while. So anyway, I'll get out of your hair. And you sure about those? You don't want to buy those things? I said, no, thank you. He leaves. By the way, I'm also embarrassed because while he was doing this, we're in close quarters. We're standing right next to each other. Someone calls his phone, and I thought it was his daughter. And I said, do you need to answer your daughter's call? No, it was his girlfriend, Daddy's girl. The name of the phone was Daddy's girl. And I thought it was his daughter, and it was his girlfriend. And so anyway, that teaches, careful what your freaking contacts are called. I was very embarrassed. Anyway, so that was annoying. So I started the whole software update. You know, he started it for me. He left. It's going. And my friends are like, well, yeah, it's going to take forever. You have 30,000 photos and videos, and you never delete a text thread, because I always want receipts, you know? And so anyway, I'm letting it go. By the time I go to bed, it's still going. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to restart this. This is taking way too long for a software update. It hasn't even started the data transfer. So I restart it. I let it go through the night, wake up. Of course, I'm waking up all throughout the night checking this, which is very annoying, and I don't even know why. Wake up in the morning, it's still not working. So again, I was staying at home from work because my property manager was coming. So I start the process of talking to these friggin' tech people on the chat. Or are they robots? We don't know. Anyway, they're very kind, whether they're robots or human, but they're not understanding, and they keep, oh my God, what is that? What was the show? Oh my God, if you guys have seen Nobody Wants This, the show on Netflix, this is, the guy recommends it. This is how you be the main character in a conversation. Even if you don't know what someone's talking about, you always repeat the last things that they say. So if I said like, oh yeah, I went to Taiwan last year and the food was delicious, someone could say like, the food was delicious. Like you catch on to their sentence, right? This is what these robot human tech bots were doing. Like I would be like, I'm doing the software update and it's not working. And they would say, I understand that the software update isn't working, but have you tried this? Like I was losing my mind. So between the tech last night, 2 chat robot humans today, 3 people on the phone today, I finally got my phone situated. And you guys know, like, there's nothing more to whine about, you know, on a funny level than cable, internet, phone, customer service. Like, It really grinds my gears. And then they're transferring me to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. Hi, how can I help you? I'm like, did anyone report why I'm calling? Do I have to keep repeating the whole story? And then I'm getting more and more frustrated each time, trying to maintain my cool because it's not their fault. So then I get on the phone with Julius from the Philippines. And Julius, lovely. I was on the phone with him for a long time. And he, throughout all the times that we were waiting for my loading bars, he's like, oh, what's the percentage now? I'm like, still not showing. He helped me a lot, troubleshooted a lot. I will be giving him a good review on his survey that they beg you to do. However, now I know a lot about Julius. He has a cat. He's going to be ketchup for Halloween. I said, like, the condiment? He said yes. He said the red one, though, not the banana, because apparently in the Philippines they have a banana ketchup. I said, are you going with a bunch of people? And he's like, oh, right, because I should be going with other condiments. He was wild. Really got along with him. But at the end, we figure it out. We finished the process. I'm like, Julius, thank you so much. I really appreciate your help. Thank you for being so thorough and helpful and understanding. Guess what? He ends it with the Verizon home protection plan and the 5G. No, thank you, Julius. I don't need that. I don't want that. I've been offered that 4 times now, and I don't want it. And this man is persistent. And it's kind of like I'm learning a thing or two because I'm in sales. And like, I realized that the whole time I was on the phone with this guy and he's talking to me about my pet and do I have a security camera and like all this stuff, he's gathering intel to then use it against me in the sales pitch. And honestly, 10 out of 10 brilliant, because he was like, well, what if something happens to that security camera watching your dog? Like you wouldn't want. And I absolutely, but the answer was no. It was always going to be no, but like they really almost got me. I'm a very vulnerable person to people like that. Like walking the mall, someone's asking for money for any sort of fundraiser, like you got it. I got a 20. I don't have change. You get the whole 20. Like, and that's something I'm working on. And I think I did a great job today. But anyway, that was my day. Oh, and so then I had to rush to work as soon as the maintenance men leave. And they were like, oh, okay, if you have any other problems, contact Sam. And I was like, who's Sam? And they were like, the owner. And I was like, can I? Oh, right, Sam. I lost Sam's number because, I'm trying to get the owner's phone number of my apartment. He saw what I was doing and he wouldn't give it to me, but he told me to contact Andrew, who is my property manager, who you all know. And I said, Andrew is a pinche motherfucker. And he left. I don't think he wanted to get involved. But anyway, they did their electrical outlets, ran to work, then ran back, dealt with Pedro, and now I'm here recording the podcast. So that was my crazy day. And just honestly, people, like everyone reaching out about Walter has been so lovely, but I haven't even had a chance to think about it since 6:15 p.m. last night, which I guess has been good for me. But tomorrow, I'm sure I'll be sad all over again. Last solo episode, I believe we talked about how I was back on the dating apps. Well, I know we did, but I think that was the first time we talked about it. And guess what, guys? Plot twist, they're still shit. Still waiting to be swept off my feet. Still waiting for just a competent, nice human man to want to deal with me. Still waiting for normal human decency. I have to tell you, I'll just tell you about one date. Actually, I've only been on one date from the app, and I met someone in person, and we did go on a date. But the date on the app, okay, started off well. The conversation was good. He moved here from New York a year and a half ago. He has 2 pit bulls. He seemed like a good dog dad, which in my head I was like, 3 dogs, like that's a lot, like that's it's not going to work for me. But anyway, things were going good. Conversation was going good. Now he was very chatty, and I appreciate that. Like, I don't want to be, what am I trying to say? Like I get frustrated when people don't chat enough. So like, I don't want to be too picky. Okay. He's chatting. Great. Lots of voice memos. But then he was also like videoing himself talking to me and sending that. And so it was a lot. So I started to pull back a little bit, like still being excited about my responses and stuff. But I was like, okay, we got to like pull back a little bit. He starts calling me baby and baby girl. Red flag before we meet. You don't know me. You've never met me. I don't like it. And I'm not like, I don't know. It just grosses me out. I like pet names when you know somebody. Anyway, I ended up asking him on a phone call. He had asked something and I was like, oh yeah, like honestly, like the pet names are a lot for me before I get to know somebody. And he's like, heard you, understood, like, won't, I'll work on that. And I was like, I don't want to like change who you are, but just like, we don't know each other yet, And he's like, yeah, totally good. He also sent me like a very romantic R&B song and I liked it. I think I hearted it, maybe thumbs up. Anyway, the next time we talked on the phone and he was like, did you like the song I sent you? And I was like, yeah, I did. I know that song. And he's like, well, did you like that I sent it? And I was like, no, like it's too much. It's too much. I don't know you yet. Who else are you sending that song to? Like, that's a crazy song to just send to a stranger. So maybe I'm the problem. But anyway, so basically from the time we match on Hinge to the time we meet up, it's about a 2-week span. So picture a lot of this talking. I'm getting icked out, but I'm trying not to get icked out. Okay. And then this is where it all goes wrong. He voice memoed me asking me what I was doing. I was leaving the studio last whatever day that was, and I was like, oh, I'm actually headed home. I'm about to get Raisin Cane's. It's my guilty pleasure. And he responded with like, that's a big meal this late, and then also other things. First of all, I was like, big meal this late? You calling me fat? Just kidding. I didn't think that, but like, weird thing to say. Anyway, I responded in the morning and I was like, oh yeah, good morning. I'm taking my dog to the vet. And yeah, I guess it was a big meal. I was really full. Probably won't be eating that late again. Like, just kind of like, I didn't want to be a bitch to his message, His response over voice memo, keep in mind, is the strangest voice memo I've ever received. And like, I don't know how I still went on a date with this person. His response was, I bet you were farting all night long. Oh my God, I should just play it. I bet you were farting all night long. Can't believe you ate that meal that late. I bet you were tearing up the sheets. That's probably why Pedro had to go to the vet, because he has to get his nose reconstructed because his mom was farting all night long. What the... Sir, we've never met. Don't say the word fart to me. Like, don't say the word fart. I don't know. I don't know what possessed this person to think that, like, he felt comfortable quick. Like, I understand that people have, in partnerships, relationships, dating, marriages, like, yeah, some people are super open about, obviously, everyone poops. I get it. Everyone farts. Everyone toots. But this is supposed to be like an exciting stage in the dating courtship, and like, you're telling me I'm tearing up my sheets? First of all, if Raisin Cane's makes you do that, you need to go see the doctor, because that's a crazy meal to tear up your stomach. Also, don't say the word fart to me, because we don't know each other. Anyway, I still went on the date. And I shouldn't have. I get there. I had just come from filming another podcast in Sugar Land, which is like a 40-minute drive from where I was meeting him. So I had to run to the restroom to pee, if you guys want to know. And it was a very small sushi restaurant. So like the server was in there probably playing like competitive Tetris on her phone. So she was taking forever. And I was like, gotta go to the restroom, please get out. So I used the restroom. I come back out and he's like, bathroom break? What is your obsession with potty humor? Like, it's not the jam. It's not the jam. So anyway, so then he like gets up from his seat, motions for me to sit down. And I was like, oh, we're sitting on the same side? And he's like, of course. And I sit down. It's a two-top, by the way, if you guys don't know what that is. It's a table for two. So one sits here, one sits on the other. There's no room for two people on one side of the booth. So I sit down and he is sitting there with no table in front of him. What are you doing? Like, this doesn't make sense. So I said, like, are you sure? I don't really feel like we should be. He's like, you'll be fine. I said, I'm going to need to move to the other side of the table. Like, why am I going to let this man make me feel uncomfortable throughout this date? No. So anyway, I won't go into more details about the date, but it sucked. And I really think that I'm questioning getting back onto the online journey because I have been being more intentional about my socializing in real life. And I met some cool people, even not just like men, attractive men to date. I'm talking about just like cool people for the podcast. Like, I'm just, I get a little like nervous and shy and like, I don't know, like weird. I mean, because I am weird. So then I feel like, I don't know, I just like don't interact past like I don't take it seriously or something like that. Something's definitely wrong with me, or my therapist and I are working on that. But I've been enjoying that more so than the dating online. So I don't know. I'll keep you posted. Also, last solo episode we talked about Pedro. I was really upset because I was going to pay $1,800 to get him trained, and I've decided against it at this point in time. I took one look at my finances and can't afford it. And yeah, can't afford a lot of things. So what am I doing? I'm going to train him on my own. However, every day I want to go get him trained and pay that $1,800. Like, I know it's worth it. Oh my God. He does so well. But you guys, the other day I was obviously on a walk with him, and there's a guy with 3 dogs who's Pedro's actually met these dogs before because they ran away from home before and I saved them. So these dogs should be grateful that I took them back to their home, and they got along very well. But anyway, now Pedro sees them on a leash. I think he wants to go play with them because he knows them, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole thing. Anyway, Pedro, I was in my socks and slides. And ask me what I'll never be wearing on a walk with Pedro again. Will never wear my slides. I was so embarrassed. Pedro was so out of hand. He was pulling me on his hind legs, pulling me feet at a time. At one point in time, my feet were out of my slides. My slides were in back of me, one over here, one over there. I could not. I was like, should I just continue walking without my shoes? Like, it was so embarrassing. I know I'm on somebody's Ring camera. You know when you like walk too fast or like trip in your slides and then you end up like walking on the top strap of your slide instead of the sole? That's what I was doing. I was absolutely tripping over my slides and it was very embarrassing. But we're working through it. I put him straight in his crate when we got back in the house. I was so fucking pissed. Oh my God, he's lucky he didn't get a spanking. So anyway, that's just what I'm sticking with. Home training. Also, he's costing me $1 million. Speaking of finances, he has allergies like everyone else in Houston. The vet said, if you want to fix this, move out of Houston. So I'm thinking about it. Okay, so being more intentional with my +1s and intentional about my socializing. Kudos to me. Very impressed with myself because I've been having slight imposter syndrome situation. I've been a guest on a couple podcasts recently and it's been so fun. It's been great. I'm loving it. And like had some really good productive days for me in the pod, and just even I've been like working really hard at my real job lately, which is showing and it's good. So everything's going well, but I just kind of was like, what am I not doing right? Like, why don't I have the sponsorships that I want or need? Or why aren't I making more money for the podcast? Or why aren't, like, just I'm not doing enough, or I'm not good enough, or, those thoughts that always, I think, come into someone's head at some point. So having a few of those moments, and that's also aligned with I stopped my working out routine, which has been really important to me and makes me feel really good. And I've now gotten to the point where like it's hard to get back into it. So that's part of it as well, right? Because that makes me feel energized and good and healthy and moving my body and all this stuff. So I'm getting back into it this week, and so far so good. 2 days down. But lately I've also been getting invited to be people's +1s, and I have always said, invite me as your +1. I will bring the good time, and I do. I've been having so much fun. I went to an event with Redhead Rachel. And I shouldn't have been there, you know? I was the wrong plus one to have invited. It was like a business casual women's event. Very much her clientele. How do I say this? It just wasn't my style. Everyone looked the same. I showed up in, what was I wearing? I showed up in baggy, boy, like literal men jeans with a gold chain belt, a cropped Harley Davidson shirt, big ass hoops, a bun on my head, and these women were wearing 2-piece tweed sets with kitten heels, which is fine. And I love that. Look, it's just, I didn't fit in. And so stuck out like a sore thumb. There was like a raffle at some point, which like I did right when I got there. And I was like, if I win, I am not going up there. But anyway, I made it work. And Redhead Rachel said she's still going to invite me to events in the future. So have not lost that. She also took me to another event, which was so my style. They sent the Pinterest board for people to get dressed. And she's like, this is your style. I was like, perfect. So had a good time there. But the best plus one I've been in a long time is the Call Her Daddy. The Call Her Daddy Unwell podcast tour in Austin, Texas. Oh my God. I don't even know how much I'm like going to be able to like talk about it. But so I had seen that she was going on tour and I looked at tickets and I was like, finances, like for a good time, I probably should not go. So I put it out of my head, and then my good friend Chad Schubert, my brother, my love, I've known him since I was 15, he texted me and was like, guess who's coming to town? And I said, oh my God, no way, you're coming to Houston? He's like, oh shoot, I forgot. I'm actually going to Austin. But yeah, I am going to going to Austin. Are you going to the Call Her Daddy Unwell thing? And I was like, oh my God, I wanted to go, but I decided like finances wise, because I also have to get a hotel, He's like, come, I got you. So I arranged it, went to Austin I was there for like 17 or 18 hours. And I'm kind of over being like emotional about it, but I was very just like happy and I felt so lucky to be there. If you guys don't know who I'm talking about, Call Her Daddy is like the number one women's podcast like in the world. Like Alexandra Cooper is like the fucking shit. Like she is the shit. She is everything I aspire to be. One day I will be her. Maybe one day I'll be under her. That would be so exciting. So anyway, oh my God. So I ended up riding the elevator with her. Didn't talk to her. I ended up bringing merch that I was going to give to her if I like saw her at the right place, right time. But like it wasn't, because I wanted to understand that like Chad was actually there on a job. Like I can't be obnoxious and crazy. But I had a ticketed seat, but I actually spent the whole time in the backstage with Chad and his client, Kristen Cavallari. And then we watched the podcast from backstage, and he's like, go to your seat, like go get, comfortable, go enjoy the show. And I was like, as big of a fan as I am of Alexandra Cooper and Kristen Cavallari, I am where I'm supposed to be. Like backstage, I am 100% where I'm supposed to be. Like I just felt like after the maybe past week or 2 weeks of feeling like this imposter syndrome and just feeling like I wasn't doing enough, or what was I doing in this space? I just didn't have a reason. I felt more than ever, like as I was sitting there backstage watching the show on the monitor, and she puts on such a good show, I just felt like this is where I'm supposed to be. And maybe it's also because of my background working in film and TV and dealing with celebrities and athletes all the time. Like, no offense, but like I just I don't feel super like, no, you're so impressive. Like obviously you have this talent, but like I don't feel like, oh my God, give me your autograph or anything like that. I'm just like, you're a human. Like, what's your story? And then I have a podcast where I talk to these people. So I don't know. I'm feeling just really comfortable and good and positive, and like nothing life-changing happened at the Call Her Daddy, event. But I just know that I was supposed to be there. And I know that someday soon, or in my podcast career, that I'm going to look back and say, I met you at the Call Her Daddy podcast, or it came from there. Not to mention that Chad Schubert is such a treasure to this world. He works with Full Scope PR. Go look up the people that they represent. Pretty cool. He is such a genuine human, a light in this world. And honestly, like, I could have driven to Austin to have dinner with him, and I think I probably would have been just as happy and fulfilled about that versus, going to the show. But he's very inspiring to be around. He's climbed the ladder in a lot of ways. He works with these people every day, and the fact that he feels comfortable that for me to join him, to be his plus one, and to be around these huge people in the industry and like comfortable and know that I'm not going to like fuck it up or something is a huge compliment. And I'm really, really happy and grateful that we've kept in touch and kept this amazing relationship. Oh my God. Since I was 15, I'm 34, 20 years. That's crazy. 19 years. So yes, I had the absolute time of my life. And I brought some merch for him, and I brought some merch for Kristen Cavallari. So we will see if it makes it way online. What else did I want to say? I think that's it. Oh, my wine of the week is really my wine of the week is really salespeople, which is what I am. And maybe I need to be better. Maybe I need to be more like these annoying salespeople in order to be better at my job. But I absolutely wanted to hit them over their head with a brick. Like, stop talking to me. No means no. I said no. I'm not interested. Maybe later. Like, what else do I have to say to get you out of my face? And especially, like I said, I was very transparent, and like I always am, saying like, I'm having a bad day. My dog died. Don't want to talk to you. Fix my phone. Thank you so much. You're so kind. I'm being very nice. Please leave. Go home to daddy's girl. And they just weren't taking no for an answer. And that really bothers me. It really bothers me when someone doesn't hear me. Like when I just feel like they're fake listening to me. And that's what was happening. So that's my wine of the week. Okay, that was a quick and dirty solo episode, as I normally do. I'm sure unhinged. I'm sure off the rails. I'm sure in rare form. But I love you guys so much. Oh my God, you guys loved the Jen Pinkerton episode, by the way. God, I have her back on. You guys loved. No offense to all the other guests I've had on, but everyone loved Jen Pinkerton. So that is so exciting. And it's good feedback. I love hearing what y'all like to hear, what moments of the episodes you love, where you wish I would have gone further with the question. So that's all good. So please don't hesitate to keep giving me your feedback. You could also go give me your feedback in a review form on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube. That would make me very horny. And what else? That's it. Stay tuned. We do have a lot of I guess Creators Guild. I have a lot of exciting things, exciting guests coming up. So no need for imposter syndrome because I'm doing it, bitch. Yes. Also, wait, don't forget to tell me you like my shirt. Spray painted? What? I got this at one of the events. And by the way, I also got the bag. You were only supposed to get one item. And I went up like 20 minutes before the event ended. And I was like, do you possibly have any, extra? And they were like, come back in like 10 minutes. If we have extra, we'll make one. And I know he thought I wasn't going to come back. Like I know he thinks he got rid of me. And I came back about 10 minutes later and was like, do you have any extra? So he made me a bag, a little tote as well. So very horny about that. I'm so excited. I'm going to wear this like in life, like with heels. This is why I say I didn't belong at that business casual event with people in tweed sets and kitten heels. Like, can you imagine if I wore this shirt there? Kicked out of the place. Security. Anyway, that's it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.